Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock, and we want to begin this evening with the future of IPS. That's what a coalition of parents, teachers, students, and community members outlined tonight. And it's also what a group created by the Indiana General Assembly is working to shape. Our Logan Gay was at that meeting tonight of the Indianapolis Local Educational Alliance. She's here in studio to break down what's at stake. Logan?
Well, Scott, the community group presented a document called Together We Strive, and it focuses on reimagining a school system that brings people together and makes sure every student in IPS and charter schools thrive. Parents, teachers, and students packed the Indianapolis Local Education Alliance meeting to advocate for students and deliver bold new recommendations they drafted. The focus of the 22-page document focuses on ensuring every student in Indianapolis has access to a high-quality public education, regardless of where they live or what kind of school they attend.
There's always been a great divide between charter and public schools when we're all public schools, and we have to eliminate that type of language.
The Local Education Alliance was formed by state lawmakers during the 2025 legislative session and aims to streamline how IPS, innovation, and charter schools share resources. And it's why members of the Stand for Children Indiana group took the opportunity to share their ideas. The group is made up of a diverse group of advocates, including IPS parents, students, and teachers. Some of the main recommendations include expanding transportation access, unifying all public schools, IPS and charter, under a single IPS district governed by a board of both elected and appointed members, and holding all schools accountable through a shared set of data-driven expectations. They say it's about closing opportunity gaps.
There's no barriers, should be any barriers for education. And so children should be able to commute and receive that top quality education no matter what side of town, no matter what life and walk of life they come from.
Having the same education, we want to make sure our kids are getting the same results. Secondly, we want to be able to retain good teachers, and also have a push on going out and searching actively for new teachers.
These parents hope the Alliance consider the recommendations to improve not just IPS, but the whole community.
We have to be involved with our kids' future so we can make sure it's the best future for all of us.
So I asked for a comment from one of the Alliance members, and he told me they need more time to go over the proposal presented. Ultimately, the Alliance will report on its recommendations for what's next to the city and state leaders by the end of the year.
And we'll be covering it, Logan. Thanks so much. Tomorrow night, people will have another chance to weigh in on a proposed rate hike from AES Indiana. This public hearing is scheduled to start at 6 at Southeast Community Services. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission has to sign off on that proposal. The IURC will host a couple of additional hearings a little later this month. Right now, AES is proposing a price increase that could raise people's bills more than $20 a month. Well, your AC may be getting a little bit of a break as we close out this week. Angela joins us from the weather studio. The 90s are over. The heat wave is finally over, right?
Woohoo! The heat wave is over. And this latest heat wave, Scott, brought us 4 days in the 90s. I'm going to have the total for you coming up in the full forecast. Right now, already have a lot of locations down into the 60s. Still hanging on to 71 in Indianapolis, but we've dropped to 66 in Richmond. We have 67 Kokomo, 68 Lafayette, and currently 69 degrees in Greencastle. Temperatures overnight will drop into the 60s for all of central Indiana. By the way, the current numbers are running about 5 degrees cooler compared to this time last night. 60s to start our Thursday. Some clouds, some sunshine. High temperatures will near 80 degrees. We'll be in the 80s for Friday and Saturday, but even cooler air coming our way. I'll have that look ahead in a few minutes.
All right, see you in a little bit, Angela. Thanks. Tonight we want to take a closer look at a shooting that killed a UPS worker here in Indianapolis. Right now, police are working to figure out if that shooting was random or if someone targeted the man. This is a story we first brought you last night as breaking news. This was the scene around 10 o'clock. Tonight, we are told the victim had just finished up his shift on the north side of Indy near 81st and Zionsville. Police say he was sitting on a bench outside when someone walked up to him and shot him. Investigators say the suspect then took off. So we reached out to UPS today about this shooting. The company released a statement saying, quoting, "We are deeply saddened by the loss of our employee. We defer to authorities for any additional information as there is an ongoing investigation." Now, if you have any information that can help police track down this shooter, please reach out to IMPD or Crime Stoppers. You don't have to give your name. Now, that gunfire near 81st and Zionsville last night was one of 3 shootings in less than an hour. Police say that 43-year-old Kiana McBride was shot and killed near 10th and Rural. Officers say they took the victim's husband into custody. Police tonight confirm a 40-year-old man is now facing a preliminary charge of murder. Now, the third shooting unfolded on Kenyon Street, which is near 21st and Arlington. Now, at the time, police told us that person that was shot was stable. Tonight, 2 people, both parents, are charged in separate shootings after their kids got a hold of guns. The first case took place on June 19th in a CVS parking lot near 46th and Keystone. Now, we got court documents tonight that say the mom, Kiara Bickett, had a loaded gun in her purse. One of her kids, 2-year-old Javarius, was able to get the gun and accidentally shot himself. He died at the hospital. The second shooting took place less than a month later in a home on Ralston Avenue. Investigators say the father, Leonta Anderson, showed up at a hospital with his 2-year-old daughter. She died not long after showing up in the ER. Police found several unsecured guns inside the home.
We certainly want to be sensitive to what the family's going through. We understand that they're already walking around with the greatest punishment that they can ever receive in this case, which is the loss of the child. But at the same time, we have an obligation to the community to prevent future tragedies like this from occurring.
Police say they are now working to arrest both Bickett and Anderson. New tonight, a man was just sentenced to 38 years in prison after a drive-by shooting at Columbus Park. This happened in May of 2023. Marius Oates was charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery. Police tell us 4 people were injured in that shooting near the basketball courts at Lincoln Park. They say there was an ongoing conflict between Oates and one of the victims. A second person was also charged in connection with that shooting. A new break tonight in a 12-year-old double murder in southern Indiana. Investigators tell us tonight they found the suspect at an immigration and customs enforcement facility in Georgia. This case dates back to October of 2013 when Clarksville police responded to a house fire. They discovered 2 bodies inside the home. Police tell us the suspect's DNA matches the DNA that was collected at the time of the crime from a knife and blood underneath one of the victim's fingernails. They say the suspect was the roommate of the victims.
Throughout that investigation, it was determined that both of those individuals had been stabbed to death. So one individual had stab wounds on over 90% of his body, and the other individual had stab wounds on over 95% of his total body surface. So I think it would be prudent to say that this was a brutal double murder.
Our sister station in Louisville reached out to ICE about whether the suspect was targeted and what his immigration status is. The agency has not responded. That suspect is expected to be extradited here to Indiana. Here's a look at the other stories making headlines right now. Tonight, the Elwood Post Office is dedicated to a police officer who was killed in the line of duty. The parents of Officer Noah Chanavez says this honor keeps his memory alive. Noah Chanavez was shot and killed back in July of 2022. Carl Boards II is awaiting trial for his murder. Tonight, an Anderson man is under arrest, accused of killing another man last year. 28-year-old Dustin Rhodes died in the shooting. Police say they believe there was a disagreement between several people before the gunfire. Officers found the suspect in Richmond yesterday. Tonight, he's facing a preliminary murder charge. Tonight, 3 men are facing charges after last weekend's crackdown on reckless driving here in Indianapolis. Over the weekend, IMPD and state police made 8 arrests, issued 11 traffic citations, and recovered 2 stolen cars. Tonight, Governor Mike Braun is recognizing Indiana Task Force 1 and the State Department of Emergency Management for their work in Texas responding to massive flooding. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security shared these photos with us. Task Force 1 was in the state for more than 20 days last month. Tonight, we're getting our first look at the new home for IMPD's Mounted Patrol. The facility has 13 stalls and stables for the horses, plus new offices and locker rooms for the officers. The Mounted Patrol is used for crowd control at large events, plus patrolling city parks and neighborhoods. Remember, you can find all of our latest local stories anytime on our 13 News app.